My wife insisted that her oldest daughter move in permanently. I refused to let my children endure her abuse and disrespect, so I filed for divorce. Now my ex is shocked, but I won't sacrifice my kids to fix hers. I chose my children over my marriage. My name is Daniel Foster. I'm 44, and until a few months ago, I thought I had marriage figured out. I lost my first wife, Melissa, to cancer 7 years ago, and raising our 2 kids, Evan, 15, and Lily, 13, had been my full focus. Then I met Claire. Claire was a widow with 3 children, Mason, 10, Emma, 7, and her oldest, Harper, 16, from a relationship before her late husband. Harper didn't live with us full-time. She split her time with her dad in another state. Honestly, that arrangement worked in our favor. The younger kids got along like siblings, and Harper's rare visits were manageable. At first, we were the picture of a blended family. Friday night pizza, Minecraft marathons, movie nights ending with a pile of kids asleep on the couch. But that didn't last. It started small. A $20 bill missing from my glove box. Half a bag of Lily's favorite chocolates gone. Probably misplaced, Claire would say. Then family members began noticing things. Perfume disappearing after Harper visited, a bracelet missing from Claire's aunt's dresser. Harper had a way of turning everything into a battle. Ask her to rinse a plate? She'd smirk, roll her eyes, and drag herself to the sink like I'd asked her to scrub the floors with a toothbrush. She mocked my son for loving science, called Lily's art baby drawings, and ignored every house rule. I even tried giving her chances to earn money, washing the car or organizing the garage, but she'd do it once and then tell Claire I was exploiting her. When she was at her dad's, life was peaceful. The younger kids played, my children relaxed, and no one hid their belongings when she wasn't around. Evan locked his door. Lily stored her art supplies in my dresser. Even Emma, who adored everyone, whispered once that she hid her diary because Harper liked reading other people's secrets. A year into our marriage, Harper's dad moved out of state, and the court allowed her to move with him. Visits were still required, but every single one followed the same pattern. She arrived, tension spiked, things went missing, she left, and calm returned. I kept telling Claire we had a serious problem. She brushed it off, calling it teenage behavior, insisting Harper just needed time. Then this summer, during one of Harper's visits, Claire dropped a bombshell. I had just come in from mowing the lawn. She was beaming like she'd hit the jackpot. Harper wants to live with us full-time, she said. Her dad's traveling for work and she'd rather be here than alone. She's already said yes. Already planning bedroom arrangements. Already decided. I replayed every stolen item, every cutting remark, every night my kids stayed in their rooms to avoid her. We need to slow down, I told Claire. We can't bring her here full-time without addressing the issues we've had. Claire waved it off. It'll be better when she's here full-time. She won't feel like a visitor anymore. I'd heard differently from her relatives. Harper had been this way since she was 7. Good luck fixing her now. That night I sat down with Evan and Lily. How would you feel if Harper lived here full-time? Evan didn't hesitate. She stole my switch. Lily's answer was quieter but firm. I don't feel safe with her here. That was all I needed. I told Claire plainly, if Harper moves in, I'm moving out with my kids. She accused me of choosing my kids over hers. I corrected her. I'm choosing my kids over someone who has disrespected them for years. 2 weeks later, I had signed a lease for a small apartment. I didn't say a word until I held the keys in my hand. Then I told her. She called me selfish, accused me of abandoning Mason and Emma. I promised I'd still be in their lives, but I wasn't sacrificing my kids' safety for a teenager who refused to change. The first night in the apartment was quiet but telling. Evan left his headphones on his desk without fear. Lily unpacked her paints and left them out for the first time in years. Nothing dramatic, but it was peaceful. Claire tried to pull me back, calls, texts, even showing up at my door, but never acknowledged Harper's behavior. It was always about keeping the family together, loving all kids equally. Her sister even called, saying, "You can't end a marriage over a teenager's attitude." I told her, this isn't attitude. It's theft, disrespect, and years of my kids feeling unsafe in their own home. That's not something I gamble with. My family was 100% behind me. My dad said, if you'd stayed, we'd have to talk about why you let your kids live like that. Now Harper lives with Claire full-time. I hear through the grapevine that Mason and Emma are missing toys and clothes, but that's no longer my problem. I still see them, go to their games, take them out, but always away from Harper. My kids are thriving. They invite friends over. They laugh louder. They sleep better. The marriage is over. No regrets. If anything, I wish I'd left sooner. The truth? Your duty as a parent isn't to keep a marriage alive, it's to keep your children safe. And I did exactly that. At first, I thought the quiet would last. Then, 3 weeks after moving, my phone buzzed. Claire. I almost ignored it, but the text read, Mason asked why you don't love them anymore. We need to talk. I called, thinking maybe she was finally ready to discuss real solutions. But she was defensive from the start. Daniel, this isn't working. You're punishing us because you don't like Harper. Claire, I don't dislike Harper. I dislike her behavior. I've been saying this for years. Nothing has changed. She tried the guilt trip again. You're leaving them just like their fathers did. No, I said. I'm protecting my kids. That's something their fathers didn't do. That ended the call. The following week, she showed up unannounced at my apartment. Lily was baking cookies. Evan was on the couch with his laptop. Claire walked in like she still lived there, heading straight for the kids. Hey guys, guess what? Harper's doing better. She's thinking about apologizing. Neither of them looked up. I guided her outside. Claire, don't do that here. Don't ambush my kids with this fantasy that Harper will suddenly change. Her eyes narrowed. You just want them to hate her. No, I said. They came to their own conclusions after living through it. She left without saying goodbye. 2 months into the separation, rumors started. Neighbors I barely knew approached with sympathetic smiles. Maybe you were too harsh, one said. I miss seeing all the kids riding bikes together. I almost laughed. My kids hadn't ridden with Harper in years, she'd mocked them until they stopped. Even a friend from my softball team tried to reason. Kids grow out of this stuff, Dan. I told him, this isn't about growing out of it. It's about years of my kids feeling unsafe in their own home. That's not something I gamble with. He didn't bring it up again. Then came the kicker. One night, Mason called from his mom's phone, voice small. Can we come over this weekend? Just me and Emma. Of course, I said. When they arrived, Mason told me Harper had been taking their things again. Small stuff, phone chargers, gift cards, Emma's favorite sweater. And when they told their mom, she accused them of trying to turn me against Harper. The guilt of leaving them hit me again. But I knew I couldn't fix what Claire refused to see. By the time the divorce papers were signed, I'd stopped hoping for a change. Claire still acted like the only problem was me, not her lack of fairness or accountability. Harper never acknowledged anything. And my kids? They were thriving. Evan started inviting friends over regularly. Lily filled sketchbooks again, paint spread across her desk without fear. One night as we sat eating spaghetti, Evan said, I don't miss the big house at all. Me neither, Lily agreed. Feels like home here. And in that moment I realized something. The house, the marriage, the blended family dream, they were all secondary. What mattered was right there at that table. I didn't lose a family. I saved one.